Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you to another edition here today on Big Things Talk, where we have conversations that change the world. Today, I'm excited because we're talking to Byron Newsome. He's a cool dude. I know you're going to like him, so stay tuned for that. If you like what you see here on this channel, and if you want to see more videos and support this channel, please do subscribe. That would help us out a lot. Enjoy. Be easy. But, I would imagine that although, you were driven and, you had a plan and you went out and you made it happen, I would imagine that there were some challenges and struggles along the way.
Absolutely. That's absolutely all the way. That's from growing up, from being a little kid all the way up until, even now. I'm still having struggles. We all do. Right. It's funny you say struggles, man, because it just reminds me when I was in high school and in middle school, high school, going in, I played sports all my life. Was a good athlete, always one of the fastest, one of the best on the teams, playing on and stuff. And I remember when I was 11 years old, got ready to take our little, I remember I had some little pimples, little bump on my chin. You don't think anything about it.
Right.
And then when I was 12, I had a little few on my forehead,
Mm-hmm.
Then when I was 13, dude, I had basically full-blown acne. I had acne all my skin, real bad skin. And I was really self-conscious. I would have my shirt, I'd sit in class like this. Or if I had a bump on my nose, I'd sit like this. I didn't want to look at anybody. I was real shy and real defensive. And I had a bad temper because I thought people were always talking about me. And sports was kind of like that thing that people didn't judge me by the way I looked. So it was weird. It's like, so I always wanted to be good in sports, but then when I had these injuries and couldn't play like I wanted, man, I was just I think I was depressed. But I was like 16, 17, and my parents knew it. They would buy me, like they might buy me a little nice expensive shirt, like, just make him feel better, something like that. And I went with it. I'm like, I'm sad, or whatever. But dude, I'm telling you, so Greg, what's funny, man, I've been on TV ever since I've been out of school. And I was so self-conscious. I see friends now in high school and stuff like their parents like, I never knew you had this in you, because I was so shy, dude. I did stuff. I even stopped doing theater in 9th grade because I didn't want people looking at me. Like I was I didn't want that attention. It seems like I'm okay with it now, but I'm still that way, and I'm trying to. It's like it was almost like a false bravado. Like I'm confident, but I really wasn't. So that was a challenge for me. And it was kind of like forced. It was like, I'm gonna overcome this. I'm not gonna let this. So I know I'm not. My skin still isn't great. I still have blemishes and all this stuff, and it's not like everybody else. But you know what? I was like, so everybody has, like you said, challenges, things they have to overcome, and that's just something I had to overcome at a young age, and I'm still dealing with it now, dude. It's funny as it is. And you see me, like I said, I have my YouTube channel. I'm on TV, sports, acting. But I still deal with that, dude. I still deal with that, and it's just something I will not let hold me back or stop me from doing things that I think can be impactful to others.
Yeah, and where do you think that mentality comes from?
Well, I don't know. My parents, my mom and dad. My mom, like a quick story about her. She instilled, wanted education in us. Make sure you got to get your education. Use your brain instead of your hands. Because my dad, worked in a plant. She ended up going to nursing school later. But what was funny about that story, before I came along, my brothers, you go to elementary school, middle school, high school, and then you can go to college. Well, my brother was a junior at Alabama State. And it's so funny. And so his friends were like, man, I don't know if I want to go to school no more. Some of his friends. He was like, what you mean you don't know if you want to go? You have to go. He was like, no, you don't. My brother thought you had to go to college. He thought that was like just the next step. He quit school. He wanted to quit school after that. Like he was like, he didn't know you didn't have to go to school, college.
Right.
High school and everything. He thought that was just the next progression, which it should be. But My mom, that's how my parents did. They instilled it like, no, this is what you're gonna do, and then you're gonna go and get, so they instilled that in us. And my dad, one of the things he told me was, I made a bad grade on my report card one time, and he was like, I said, Dad, I'm gonna do good next semester. I'm gonna do good. He looked at me and was like, don't tell me, show me. And I had never forgotten that, man. That was one thing that I feel like that stood out to me more than anything, because people talk a lot about what they're going to do or what they want to do, and they never get to it. And so I'm more of a person just, oh, I didn't know you were doing a YouTube channel. Oh, I didn't know you were doing broadcasting. Because I just did it. I just do it, and then you see it after I do it. Because, I mean, things happen. You get challenged in life, and things don't work the way you want them to. So, don't tell me, show me. That was one of the things, and so that's kind of, where I, from the low self-esteem or whatever. Okay, I'm not going to tell everybody what I'm just going to go do it, and then they'll see that I have confidence that I can overcome these things and stuff like that. So,
oh man, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely vouch for that, because there's times when I hop on Facebook or somewhere, I'm like, oh, look what Byron doing now. That's good, brother. Cool, man. Well, that's so important to have, supportive parents like that. Because I guess essentially what you're saying is it's important to have a support system.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So good, man. So what I want to do now is just kind of talk a little bit about like some of your philosophies on success, some of the things that you do. I know you are a top motivator and somebody who inspires people. I've been around you, seen you do it, and I definitely want to have you get that message out to some of the people watching this channel that may need that message at this moment. So, I guess one of the first places that we should start is, what are your philosophies and thoughts on goal setting and setting goals?
Very, very important. You can't get where you're going if you don't have a goal you're trying to get to.
Right.
I mean, you have to have somewhere you're trying to go, something you're trying to accomplish, and one of the most important things as far as goal setting for me has been time. Setting a time limit on things. Because if you don't set a time limit, I mean, everything that you like sports, there's a length and a quarter. There's, a half. There's a, 4 quarter. There's a certain amount of time. Because if you just played and didn't have a score a time you were going to, they just be playing all night and nobody would ever win. So it's, so, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I look at it, I feel like I relate everything to sports too. Because for me, I've always grown up in it. And that's how I looked at it. It was like, if a football game can have, 15 minutes a quarter, and they know when the quarter ends, when they have to go to the second quarter, why shouldn't my life be that way? Why shouldn't I say, okay, because I haven't done it. I'm going to tell you, I was against time limits. I was like, no, I'm not going to set a time limit. I'm going to just do it and make it happen. And then I started realizing, you may get a little lax. You're like, well, I got plenty of time. I got time. I got plenty of time. Okay, I'm not setting a time limit, so I got plenty of time to do that. And when you do that, you don't take care of the business that you need to take care of.
Right.
I feel like, I've been out here in LA, man, for going on 12 years now. Going on 12 years now. Yeah, I think 12 years in December. And when I first got out here, I was still doing, remember we used to speak, with the company Making It Count. I was still traveling, doing the diversity leadership programs with you and everything. And I was doing a lot of traveling. And it was taking me out of LA the first 3 years. And I was like, I'm in LA now. I got plenty of time. But I said, no, I moved to LA to act. That's what I'm going to do. So I stopped traveling. I stopped doing as much as I was doing. And that's when my career, I started working with Days of Our Lives. That's when I became SAG eligible. And I got in SAG, joined the Screen Actors Guild, and started booking commercials. When I focused and set that time limit for myself. Even this year, I started back in broadcasting. I set a time limit for myself. If X, Y, and Z doesn't happen by this time, I'm going to open myself up to some other opportunities. That's what has happened. Then I started booking things. I've been on a Veil for some commercials, doing video games. It's just opening myself up, giving myself a time. Like, this is when I'm going to do this. If this hadn't happened by this time, I'm going to open myself up to change. One of my favorite quotes is by John Wooden. It was, failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. Failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. And dude, when I think about that, it's like people are afraid to fail. People are afraid to try things because they think they might not make it, or it's hard to make that. It's hard to act because so few people make it successfully. Right. But if I hadn't done everything I've done, man, I'm not a failure. Even though I may not have reached the success I wanted to reach at this certain point, X, Y, and Z. But I've been able to accomplish a lot of things, and I'm willing to change now. I'm willing to change my approach. And I feel like we always get into that, like, no, I'm doing it this way, and no, I'm not going to change. I feel like that quote, and that's just, I read that a couple of years ago, and it made me change. It made me realize, like, I'm not failing. I'm doing everything I came out here to do. It's just the way I'm doing it. Maybe I should change. Maybe let me change this. Let me be open to this. Some other opportunities. And that's, failure is not, fatal, but failure to change might be. John Wood knows that really means something to me.
That's awesome, brother. That's gonna speak to somebody.
Absolutely.
Now, who's your inspiration in life?
Man, I kind of reiterated myself. I hate to say it, but it was like I said, my parents. But that thing my dad said to me about don't tell me, show me.
Right,
dude. That is just. And I use that in my marriage. I'm not going. It's not about. Of course, I tell my wife I love her, tell her how beautiful she is, but I show her. Right. So I show her that she's beautiful. I show her that I love her. I show my friends. I show them. It's not about I'm such a good friend. No, I'm not telling you. I do so much for my friends. No, I show them. So it's like that. I feel in every aspect, work, everything. That has inspired me to do so many other things and to be that visual aid that people can see. Not just somebody's talking a talking head like you should do this. You should always be on time. You should work hard. No. I'm going to be on time. I'm going to work hard. That's how you're supposed to do it. So that my dad, you always say, like I said, having that strong figure, especially at the same time, the male figure, my dad has always been that for me. And, my mom, like I said, it's so funny. She was like, you always talking about your daddy. Your dad. No, my mom did the same thing. She had all boys. It's 4 boys. My brothers, it's just her. So it's like we're real protective of her. But, of course, she had a major impact. But my dad, just seeing how he treated my mom, just seeing how he took care of business, seeing how he did this and did that. He showed us how to be men and showed us how you're supposed to handle your business and how you're supposed to show somebody, not tell them. You know what I'm saying? So he. That's
great, man.
Yeah. So he's been a major inspiration in my life, and it still is. Hey, 83 years old, still going to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, dog. 5:30 in the morning, still going to the gym. So I can't sit up here and say, I'm tired this morning. I don't feel like working out. 83 dollars. So I ain't got no excuse. You know what I'm saying?